how do you assess the product design decisions currently?
I mean, so what we do is we of course try to use as much data as possible, and so we analyze the behavior that we can that we can get from our data. So we have tools in place, we have systems in place which allow us to analyze to a certain degree, like how what are certain usage patterns that we're seeing. So we're always trying to come to a baseline, um, and then set kind of a target, like how much do we want to improve this. So if it's like the onboarding, it's obvious, right? There can be a conversion rate, there can be like how much time. We can look at time, you can look at different metrics there. It's definitely something where we need to mature much more. So I'm not saying that everything is perfect here. It's so yeah. We're investing in this. We're also investing into um, you know educating the people in how to do this. And there's also more and more good support from the organization, with from our data team, with data analysts who can actually help us to work with this. Of course, we also talk with our users. We have different channels that we use. We try to. I mean, whenever there's an interview or a meeting with a customer, we try to get on it and also use and collect that kind of feedback and gain insights from it. Um, but it's that's not always easy, and um, definitely some area we have in our focus. This is where we need to become much better, so moving up the maturity curve.
Yeah, it also like a challenge not to stick into this kind of paralysis when you just concentrate on small improvements, like improve conversion rate, but like 5% or 10%. If you like make some dramatic UX change, it could like shift the metric really big or like have a dramatic change rather than like making this incremental small updates. Sometimes it's valid to like rediscover some flow rather than making some tweaks down the road.
Yeah, sometimes I see that products that scales super fast, they do not do a lot of optimization and a lot of measurements. They just launch new products, great big features. And when the product is on the next stage and scaling, then they can focus on optimizations, because you can't focus on everything. Yeah, you have to decide what do you want to do: release version 2 or improve version 1 by 5%, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that is of course always a challenge, but this is also I think always um, it depends on the roadmap, on the pace that we want to go forward with. And so I mean, again, definitely an area um, where design needs to also help a little bit in terms of scoping. Like, okay, so what's the what is this first deliverable that we're going to put out there, and then what is the next step, and so on. And then find good metrics to see, like, okay, how do we how do the different steps actually impact the metrics. So yeah, but it's not an easy task. I mean, I've been in discussions with other design leaders about metrics, and everyone is, especially in B2B, everyone is struggling with that. So it's not straightforward.
Why do you think they struggle?
Well, there's of course always, you need to, I think you need to make space for that also, like, right, you need to have, first of all, it's like when you start, it's about discovery, right? How much time do you invest into discovery? Um, and then also, how much time do once you delivered the feature, um, do you um, do you jump to the next feature, or do you actually you know
Assess it
keep
properly.
on working on that feature and keep improving it? I think a lot of companies in our space all over, I think I've seen this in many organizations. It's always this, like, okay, we finish something and we go to the next thing, right? Instead of like really looking at how does that perform and how can we now make this even better. I think this is also a learning and a maturity thing of a whole product organization. We're definitely moving into the right direction here. So, but it's not on each and every project. So we also have the cases where we just, okay, there is some milestone, we need to get it done, and then we move to the next one. And of course, we try to keep an eye on it and see how it develops. But then we need to get the next improvement needs to, again, it needs to be, and it needs to get on the roadmap in order to be prioritized.
Do you think that that's a problem of lack of enough designers in most B2B products? Like if you'll have more people, you can assign somebody to work on optimization and other people would work on strategy or like product management. And because of that, there are not enough people. You have to decide where to focus.
Well, I think it's of course always great to have more people, but I think it's more like a culture and mindset thing. So it's there's if that's I think that's if you manage to build a product culture in your organization, that, and I'm not just talking about design or like all the other practices, right? Engineering and product management and whatnot. That is really, yeah, taking these initiatives end to end, and also really owning the product, but also owning kind of a little bit the business. I think that is that actually helps, right? Then you kind of automatically make space for that, because you want to be successful, you want to have impact, right? I think it's about, if you don't just, if we just produce output, that's not good. It needs to be like, we need to look at the outcome for the customer, and we should keep going until that outcome is achieved. And just by delivering a feature and switching it on, that's not that doesn't do the trick.
Yeah, that's also maybe based on the team you have, because sometimes for optimizations, you may need conversion rate optimization specialists, more researchers in your team, and when you're focused on growth, usually you hire more product designers who are 90% UI UX designers, and so this kind of people mindset usually is focusing on building new features and delivering results in this kind of area.
Yeah, I think it's also in general like data-driven approach, like a mindset in the company. Rather, like we talk about user-centric approach a lot. Like we need to build things that are needed for our customers, but how we make it better, it should be the kind of data-driven approach, like how we track performance of the features, how we track the behaviors, etc. And this is another like big process that should be part of culture in the company, and it's pretty hard to build.
I mean, our management is definitely driving for that culture. So again, it's a transition, it's a journey, and we're on that journey.